It's been nearly a decade since Vine shut down. Let that sink in. Vine was one of the greatest social medias of all time, until the day it spontaneously combusted. So when a sequel was announced in 2019, the world was beyond hyped. But then it came out a year later just to crumble to dust as soon as people opened the app. Vine 2 sucked. They were missing features, a horrible UI, and no tangible differences from Vine 1. It was an absolute catastrophe. And believe it or not, but Vine has actually had more than one sequel, including an app that just only shut down last year. But where exactly did everything go wrong with Vine 2? I mean, there is a start to this, right? Well, yeah. There is. What? Did you think I was gonna say no? First things first, we need a brief history lesson on Vine 1. That way, we're all caught up in everything, and some of the jokes later on make sense. This is where we would transition to the next scene.
Swag Messiah.
Bruh.
Everything begins in 2012. A time when TikTok didn't exist, Modern Warfare 3 ruled the internet, and the only minor that YouTubers played with was Steve. In June, a company called Vine is founded by Russ Yusupov, Colin Kroll, and Dom Hoffman. Together, these three dudes had an idea that would revolutionize the internet, a social media focused entirely on videos with a 6-second time limit. Vine would basically pioneer short-form content, which nowadays is literally everywhere. Back in 2012, however, this was a completely new idea. After a few months of development, Vine launches in January of 2013 to iPhones across the globe and immediately explodes in popularity. Later that year, it would also release on Android and Windows phones. Remember those? It's also strange to me that Vine released in 2013. I could have sworn it came out in like 2008. I mean, look at this video quality.
Stop! I could have dropped my croissant.
This was 2014. Anyway, Vine changed everything. It prompted major social medias to introduce video posts, became the fastest growing app in the world, and birthed some of the most iconic internet creators ever. From people like Caleb City, Drew Gooden, and Ludwig, to King Batch, to King Batch, Zach King, and
pleasure out of that? Oh, come on. Oh, I'm not coming on anything, man.
After 4 years of ruling the internet, though, Vine began to fall off. It stayed exactly the same, while other social media evolved to keep up with Vine and leave it behind entirely. Snapchat introduced Stories, which Instagram would later copy entirely. Musical.ly, an app all about lip syncing that totally wasn't cringeworthy at all, introduced music integration, which Instagram also copied. Huh. But the final nail in the coffin for Vine was its lack of monetization for creators. The app had countless internet celebrities, but none of them got paid for anything they did, despite Vine as a company making millions.
It was like, I don't know, the top 10, whatever, most followed Vine, we all got together and we were like, yo, we're all broke. We're like, we want to get some money. Y'all make it, we bringing all these users to y'all platform. What's up? And we talked to them and we told them, listen, we just want to get compensated like YouTube. YouTube is compensating based on the ads, but that's what we wanted, and they were not seeing that at all. And then we were like, all right, we're just not gonna create on this platform. Let's just go create on other platforms that we're getting paid for. Sure, there were brand deals here and there, but they were extremely rare, and only the biggest Viners got them. Over time, people slowly left Vine until January of 2017, when it was shut down for good. Vine was officially dead. This prompted Viners to find new platforms, which caused the Vine invasion that led to the popularization of some of the worst people we've ever seen on the internet. But this video isn't about them. Thank God. If it was, they'd probably call me out on Twitter. So, Vine is dead. Everything is in shambles, and Drew Gooden is ranting about bagels.
Because it hasn't been cut in half.
Here's a question I think everyone in the world has right now. How the fuck are you gonna toast this bagel?
This was how 2017 started. No need to fact check me, I was there. I was like 12, but I was there. For pretty much the entire year, everyone was left in the dark about what happened to Vine. One day, it was there, and the next, Vine was completely gone. The app was beloved by the entire world, so almost instantly, rumors of a sequel began to spread across the internet, with no concrete evidence behind them. That was until December of 2017, when Vine 2 was officially teased on Twitter by Dom Hoffman. Remember that name? It's because I said it earlier. One of the original founders promising to bring back Vine was incredible. It was like some sort of heroic comeback. People across the world cheered in anticipation, and it's canceled. Turns out, Dom apparently forgot that he and the other guys actually sold Vine to Twitter back in October of 2012 for $30 million. So, as soon as he announced Vine 2, the Twitter legal team drone-striked his mailbox with threats of litigation. Meanwhile, Musical.ly had just been bought out by a relatively small company known as TikTok for $1 billion. I feel like this is foreshadowing. Fast forward a bit, and now it's late 2018. Everyone has pretty much moved on from Vine at this point, all except for one person, Dom Hoffman. Again, dude, this guy just keeps showing up. In November of 2018, Dom announced that Vine 2 was actually coming back. For real this time. But to avoid legal issues, again, Dom rebranded Vine 2 to Bite. No, not that Bite. This Bite. So, of course, people around the world lose their minds. Well, actually, I just totally lied to your face. I know. I'm a horrible person, I know. The truth is, people didn't lose their minds yet. That wasn't until late April of 2019 when signups for the closed beta test of Bite began. After years of rumors, teases, deleted tweets, and legal issues, people could finally see what Vine 2 really looked like on the closed beta release. I was one of those people. I specifically remember signing up for the beta test and actually getting in. I was stoked. At the time, I wasn't using TikTok because I saw it as cringe and pointless, which is ironic considering what I do now. TikTok. I also hadn't used Vine 1 when it was around, but I loved Vine compilations. So, of course I was gonna love Vine 2. I proceeded to upload one video and never touched the app again, as did millions of others. Everything about the app was garbage, except the legally distinct color scheme. The whole futuristic neon vibe was a nice change from the grayscale of every other app ever, but that wasn't enough to make up for everything else. The UI was clunky and somehow over and under-designed at the same time. The interaction buttons were barely visible and on the complete opposite side of the screen from where your hand is. You had to dislocate your thumb just to like or re-bite a video. That's what they called reposting. You're telling me they couldn't come up with anything else? What, was it supposed to be a play on rebate? That's not even clever. That's just what Twitter did, but worse. Plus, the visual at the top and bottom of the screen that showed previous and upcoming videos just sucked. Why would you do that? It just doesn't look good. And in case you thought the scrolling looked too decent, there was an option to turn off snapping.
However, what is here is the ability to change the scrolling behavior. So I mentioned before that the videos kind of snap into place. You can turn off this assisted scrolling and you can kind of scroll freely, but I prefer to leave it on so the videos snap into place. It kind of just helps with the experience.
Nobody wants that. I don't want to watch one bite, let alone half of two at once. On top of that, the For You page only showed people you followed, and there was no explore page.
Then once you get into it, it comes into this interface where you literally just scroll down to get the latest bites. This is very similar to what it's done before. It's just a recommended list from all the stuff that you follow.
Next to the home tab is this little magnifying glass, which will eventually be Explore, but that's not in this build.
Which means the only way to find content and new creators was through the search tab. What kind of blue-collar manual labor bullshit is that? I'm a YouTuber, not a Starbucks barista at rush hour. When it came to uploading bites though, people who used Vine say it was exactly the same. A video with a 6-second time limit. That's it. No filters, no music, no GIFs, no stickers, no text, no stories, no anything. I mean, yeah, they probably did that to keep the charm of the OG Vine, but those features are what people love about Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok. Lack of updating features is literally one of the biggest reasons that Vine 1 failed, and Byte was doing the same exact thing. I mean, the app was more bare bones than the skeleton in the corner of biology class.
Dude, don't talk about me like that.
Sorry, dude. That's on me. Heat of the moment.
Nah, dog, you're good. I get it.
But this was just the beta. It was bound to be better in the actual release, right? Well, by this point, you should know that when I say right, it usually means no. When Byte officially launched in January of 2020, it was almost exactly the same as the beta. Mainly, the For You page was still just a following page.
All you see on your home is the people that you follow.
The UI did change a bit, so now you didn't need to break your thumb to like a video. This next part might be a bit nitpicky, but the interaction buttons were still small and hard to see. Except now, they were right next to the tabs at the bottom of the screen, meaning that if you somehow found the like button and went to go press it, you'd most likely accidentally go to your profile instead. These are small issues that shouldn't have been a problem in the first place. What isn't a small issue though, is that the UI buttons moved. They didn't stay in the same spot while scrolling because of the visual of previous and upcoming videos, altering the aspect ratio of the app. Plus, there was still no monetization. That was the #1 reason Vine originally failed, and it still wasn't added to Byte. It's like they were trying to fail again. On the brighter side of things though, an explore page was added, but instead of it being the homepage, like it should have been, you had to go out of your way to find it and then figure out what genre of videos you wanted. Once you found your genre though, you could scroll for as long as you liked, until you reached the end of content, which was pretty quickly, because there was barely anyone uploading videos. Why, you may be asking? Well, that's because Byte came out at the perfectly worst time possible. By the time it released in 2020, everyone was using TikTok. It had become the social media. Nobody even knew Byte existed. I was already chronically online in 2020 and a beta tester, yet I had no idea Byte even released again until researching for this video. So, it's no surprise the app was an absolute failure. After just 1 year of being online, Byte was shut down permanently on January 26th, 2021. Except, I just lied to your face. Again. That's twice now you guys let that happen. See, Byte didn't actually shut down. Instead, it was bought out and merged with an app called Clash. No, not the popular mobile game by Supercell. I'm talking about the TikTok clone, Clash. Clash was essentially just Vine 3. In all honesty, I had never even heard of it before making this video, but apparently a former Viner actually founded it. It's gotta be a good sign, right? Brendan McNerney? Who the hell is that? So at this point, you'd expect things to end here. The hype of Vine 2 is long burnt out, Byte sucked, Clash is irrelevant, and TikTok rules the social media landscape. But guess what? Vine 2, which rebranded to Byte and then rebranded to Clash, got rebranded again into Vine 4, an app called Huddles. No! Not the sports app. I'm talking about the TikTok clone with no For You page, paid group chats, and a suspiciously similar logo to Huddle. God, my blood pressure is through the roof right now. So, 4 rebrands later, you'd think they finally would have gotten things right. They didn't. They just did the same thing again. Huddles shut down in 2023, less than a year after it launched, and it was subsequently removed from app stores across the world. Wait. How? They couldn't even do that right. So why did Vine 2 fail as much as it did? Well, I think it all boils down to the fact that nobody wants a worse version of something that already exists. If Vine 2 or Byte or Clash or God forbid Huddles came out right after Vine shut down and actually fixed the problems that caused Vine to fail in the first place, things would have been a lot different. In all honesty, Vine 2 was destined to fail from the start. I mean, why should you expect a different result if you don't change anything. Remember, Vine died for a reason: lack of innovation. The app was groundbreaking when it came out 11 years ago, but it never changed anything while it was around. Meanwhile, all other social media platforms were innovating and creating new things. Instagram and Snapchat introduced filters and stories. Musical.ly introduced music integration, which was groundbreaking for the music industry and is now a core foundation of all social media. Then TikTok came around, took literally all of that and did it better. Is it a healthy app? Most definitely not. But it's the most used app in the world for a reason. It filled the gap that Vine left, had more tools for creativity, and did different things to get different results, like adding monetization. Maybe one day if TikTok ever shuts down or actually gets banned, one of these clones will finally stand a chance and rise above the rest. Nah, let's be for real. That shit ain't happening. If you enjoyed this video, you'd probably really like this one too. And I swear, I'm not lying to your face this time. You'd actually like this video, I promise.